Yes, Wargaming have managed to create another problem. Well, it's not the same. It's the same problem actually. With no sound from the engines in certain replays, you just can't get the sound to work. So you've got no engine noises, but you get the sound of the explosions. So at least you get something out of it. Anyway, we're looking at the 105 leFH18B2, the French Tier 5 Premium SPG that's currently on the Highway map, and it's the southwest spawn. And yes, because he knocked a tree down, the enemy Arty managed to get some damage out of him. In fact, this is a Tier 7 game with Tier 5 tanks in it, and the M12 managed to strip 52 hit points off him simply because he knocked a tree over. So there's the answer. Don't knock trees over, because if you do, you're more than likely going to get attacked. Anyway, Rocket2me has positioned himself nicely, and now he can attack the enemy with his 105mm main gun, which is capable of doing 410 alpha, 53mm of pen. Now, a Gabler destroyer light tank has turned up. That's the well-deserved reward for last year. Of course, there is a new one for this year, if you're not aware. And apparently it's going to be a double-barreled heavy tank. A Black Prince, nonetheless. Which should be quite interesting, actually. Rounds out in the 58. Yes! Very close. The round landed right next door to him, but because he'd actually been tracked, it did 6 hit points of damage. all of 6 hit points. Well, no. I mean, in fact, if it actually hit, it would have been a lot more. He's trying to get a direct hit, but he's also trying to dial in. And some of these guys are moving about quite a bit. That AMX 1375 should have been moving even more, but because he's actually stationary and tracked, he's going to take some damage, and the next round could be deadly to him. And it isn't actually, because it lands nearby, but it still tracks him again. And he's perma-tracked at the moment, and now he's out the game. Should have repaired that one and moved on, but he didn't. Going for the Panzer IV Aslains H, and that's gone as well. So that's 2 kills very quickly by Rocket2me. Of course, Rocket2me is in the What University, which is one of the clans I used to be in. Well, I used to be in Havoc, which was also created by the same person. So basically, it was the same clan at the time. Oh my god, what a shot that one! Went right between the silos and killed him stone dead. Incredible. It also sent up a message saying that he got a cold-blooded medal, which I find a bit hard to believe, because you have to get an enemy light tank that's less than 100 yards from you before you can actually get that medal. He did kill 2 light tanks. He killed the 1375 and then the Gabler destroyer, but they were far away. They weren't close. They're a long way away, more than 100 meters, so maybe they've changed the conditions for the cold-blooded medal. But he's just picked up another kill, and it's the Type 58 this time, so it looks like he's on a roll. And he's actually starting to get his eye in. Now, I should mention this is a double feature, because Rocket2me sent 2 replays in with the Fifi. And as we're featuring the Fifi at the moment, that's quite okay to have 2 together. That 88 is on his last legs. Oh, and the shell still goes to the right. How did that happen? He was aiming directly at him, but it still went there. That time he got it. Okay, so now he's up to 5 kills. 1 real chance of getting a Top Gun. And here comes a Hellcat. Well, as you know, Hellcat's very susceptible to arty rounds because, of course, very thin armor. He fires that one through. Oh, well, the water tower's gone, but the Hellcat's still there, and that's going to be bad news for him because he's out the game, and that's a Top Gun. Very nicely done. If you do dial in fully, it can be very accurate, this gun. Try and line up a shot on this T-34-85M. Premium Tier 6 with Premium Tier 5 But with Top Gun already, it's a good chance that he's actually on his way to getting a high caliber as well. It's showing 1,275 hit points of actual damage, but I think he's probably got more than that because there were a few closer shots. And here's the T-34. He's actually getting close. Oh, that one zipped past him. Now he needs to get an accurate hit. That's better. That's emphatic. He went right into the side of the guy and blew him apart. And that is the end of the game. It's a victory. Here's the end of battle stats of the first game, and it was a second-class tanker for rocket2me in the 105 leFH18B2. He managed to get a bruise medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 8 in this one, and he got a Top Gun for getting at least 6 kills. In fact, he ended up with 7, taking out that T-3485M, who was heading in his direction. His win rate was 3,710, which is superunicum standard. Let's have a look at the team score and see where he was. Well, he didn't get the highest damage because actually the AMX1357 on his team picked up a Pascucci's medal and the high caliber for 2,666 hit points of damage. Yes, so he was really rocking it on the other side of the battlefield. And yes, he managed to get both Artys, including that M12, who had the impertinence to try and fire at us early in the game. But there again, rocket2me did knock a tree down. And when you knock trees down, you make yourself susceptible because they are telling the enemy where you are. The second highest damage was the Hellcat he killed right at the end of the game, or near the end of the game. He got 2,254 hit points of damage. And the third highest, well, that was the 45 TP on his own team with 1,424. rocket2me picked up 1,410, and that means that he was only beaten by one member of the enemy team, 2 members of his own team, placing him in 4th place. When it came to kills, though, he was tops. He got 7 kills. 4 kills went to the AMX1357, and 2 kills went to the 88 on his own team, and the Hellcat and T-3485M on the enemy team. And in fact, only 5 members of the enemy team managed to get kills in that game. When it came to base XP, he's in 2nd place because the AMX1357, even though he was tier 7, because he did so much damage, he got 1,215 base experience points, 901 went to rocket2me, and 804 went to the P43 Biz. He fired 28 rounds, got 8 direct hits, 4 penetration shots, 13 splashes, 1,410 hit points of damage, all of it at more than 300 meters. I'm pretty sure that one of the penetrating shots was the Hellcat. Yep, it was. Only 17 hit points he had left at the end of the game. The Gabler Destroyer was a penetrating shot as well. And the AMX1357, yeah, that was a penetrating shot. Went right through him. He stood still and he got hit. I'm fairly sure. No, it wasn't the Type 58. So who was the other guy that he actually managed to penetrate in that game? Well, there's the Gabler. There's the Hellcat. There's the AMX. And it was the Panzerfahr Ausführung H that he penetrated for 401. Going back to the details, he did receive 1 hit by way of splash from the enemy Arty, 7 enemy vehicles damaged, 7 killed, and 44 hit points of damage assist. He earned 31,653 credits for that game, and he got 25 bonds for a mission achievement and 7,300 experience points, including 5,408 for a mission completion. So, decent game, first one, and a Top Gun. Always nice to see an Arty getting a Top Gun, or even higher, actually. In fact, actually, I've done it several times myself, getting several higher. In fact, we actually made a playlist of all the Arty who managed to get Radley Walters medals and even Paul's medals. So if you want to check it out, there are a few Arty out there who's so deadly. You really don't want to be on the enemy team when they're playing because obviously chances are they're going to absolutely nuke you. Anyway, let's have a look at the second game. And the second replay is on the Outpost map. And yes, would you believe it? We finally managed to get the sound to work. Game on. So much better when you've got sound. Okay, he's got 2 platoon mates in this one, an M10 RBFM and a Leopard. And, well, the M10's in W-UNI, and the Leopard, he's in SAN. At least I think that's in SAN. O2 Gord. And the other one, Go Breeny. A bit difficult to read. Anyway, he's lining up on the entrance to the castle grounds. And he has got a target, but he didn't move far enough to the east. You need to move a little further across if you're going to get shots that will actually go up that road. Otherwise, that tower gets in the way. Now, he's quite rightly working out that, yes, some of the enemy tanks are actually going to go down that little corridor. And he's trying to get shots on the Thunderbolt at the moment, but it's not working. Might get one now on the AC4. Rounds up. Yes, that's better. Of course, the AC4 being the Australian tank with a 17-pounder gun. Staghound. Rounds out. Oh, just moved out of the way in time. Another tank that probably got warning that a shell was about to hit and decided to use his speed to get away. The Porlak's being quite handy now because he pulled back, but unfortunately he's moving back quite a bit to avoid getting hit. Now the Staghorn got rammed in the rear there. And now he's out the game. He stood still too long, and that was a penetrating shot as well. So we fire another one in, and that landed very close to the Porlak. Okay, over on the other side of the battlefield, this Gabler destroyer is being a bit silly because he's trying to take on the Leopard and the M10, and he nearly got hit there. rocket2me had a round right next door to his rear, but look at this Chaffee 594 sitting there and also takes some more damage. They sit there too long as light tanks in full view of everyone, and that's when you get wiped out. That was probably another penetrating shot on the Chaffee. And he got him. That's a penetrating shot on the Skoda too. He's penetrating these enemies with HE rounds as well. And that one hit the tracks. Come on, one more to get a kill. And that was a hit. It was a hit, but look at this. We've got an enemy Cromwell who's gone right through the center of the map. And he's coming after us. And he shotgunned him at close range. And then rammed him. Of course, he is a heavy tank. And look at that. Wipes out the Cromwell. Now he needs to move because there is an enemy Arty. It's a Bishop. It's a close range Arty, so he's probably okay and safe because that guy's probably too far away to shoot at us. Yes, I think he is definitely too far away. Okay, so we did take a lot of damage. The Cromwell rammed us for 190 hit points. And he also did 115 hit points with one of those 76... Actually, it's a 75mm gun, isn't it, on the Cromwell? So, yes, he got 115 hit points for that, which is an average roll. But we've actually picked up 2,137 hit points so far, and now we've repositioned ourselves to get further away from that Porlak, who's heading in our direction. Okay, nicely set up. And there's the Porlak, and he's a one-shot, so we only need one round, and he's out the game. But behind him is another enemy tank who also happens to be a one-shot, and that's the Churchill 3. Just over the top of him. The Porlak's gone down. The Churchill goes down, so we missed out on 2 kills there, potentially. But we can certainly do a lot of damage to this guy, the KV2. Nice try. Okay, he's going to come out from behind the wall now. Very close. He stopped just at the right moment to fake it and realizes that he's a bit exposed there. That one hit the turret, just on the base of the turret as well, for 98. Fires another one in, and it looked as if it hit the turret. Didn't do any damage though, but one of our platoon mates is actually engaging that guy, and I think it's the Leopard. Our friend in the M10 is also in the vicinity. We're aiming for the turret at the moment, though. Try and aim for the body. He's rocking backwards and forwards on the same spot. That's better. That worked. And now potential high caliber, which means we must have 20% of the enemy hit pool and the highest damage at the moment. But somebody else might beat us to the punch. There's only 3 enemies left. Rounds out. This could be the kill. Yes, it is! It hit the turret and he got the kill shot. And now we're looking at the AC-4 experimental, that Australian tank that I mentioned, with a 17-pounder main gun. That was a long-range shot, but it was a good one at that because it was close. He's leading the target, but the target's moving quite quickly. Of course, the AC-4 experimental was designed in Australia, and they actually did an incredibly good job, considering they didn't really have any tank business or tank design business at the time, but they went ahead and built one. And that's it. That's the end of the game. It's a victory. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for rocket2me of What University in the 105 leFH18B2. He managed to get a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly. He also got a bruise medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, and he got 14. He also got a Starks medal for taking at least 2 hits from the enemy, losing at least 2/3 of his hit points, and getting 2 kills and still being alive at the end of the game. On top of which, he got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game overall, and his win rate was 8,163, which is super unicum and quite a bit more. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, there you go, right at the top of the table, 2,706 hit points of damage, and nobody else was really close to him, because the next highest scorer was the M6, who only managed 1,560, and on the enemy team, their Thunderbolt managed 1,398. When it came to kills, he also had the top with that one, but he shared it with the Cromwell on his own team, who got 4 kills. And when it came to second place, that was the M7, who got 3 kills, and the Thunderbolt on the enemy team. Third place going to the M6. The M10 RBFM, his platoon mate, got 2 kills, and the AC-4 experimental on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, he's got that one too. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,170 means he's the only player to get over 1,000 base. And 875 went to the Cromwell and his team, and 841 to the M10 RBFM, his platoon mate. He fired 29 rounds in the game, but he got 12 direct hits and 3 penetrating shots, 16 splashes. 2,706 hit points of damage, of which 2,070 were at more than 300 meters. So you can see at least 700 or nearly 700 hit points of damage were done at very close range. 2 hits received. 1 was a penetrating shot, 1 a non-penetrating shot, and 135 hit points of damage blocked by armor. Yes, that Cromwell that attacked him, he was very clever. He kept his eyes open. He could see that Cromwell coming, and immediately came out of aim view and instead decided to go shotgun on him, and it worked. They caught the guy in midair and hit him with 1 round, and of course then he rammed into rocket2me, and of course rocket2me, the 105 leFH18B2, is a heavy tank, so a medium tank running into a heavy tank is always going to come off worse. So he was lucky that Cromwell didn't get a second shot in on him. 8 enemy vehicles were damaged, 4 were killed, and he earned 52,841 credits profit from the game and 7,722 experience points, including another mission completion of 3,510. So incredibly well done there by rocket2me. That's a great game and a great score, and just goes to show that you can get ace tankers even off, unusual games like that one, where he actually took a lot of damage and was almost out of the game. Hope you enjoyed both those replays. If you did, please give this video a like, and thank you for watching.